Hey guys, it's Wayne from Sling Pilot Academy here. We're really excited to have Rob Holland, aerobatic champion, here with us last week doing his multi-engine instructor in the Technum. Turns out Rob's got thousands of hours in one of these in the Super Decathlon, so we had him do a cockpit tour. Enjoy the video.
Alright, so we're sitting in the Decathlon. This is a great aerobatic, primary aerobatic trainer. It's great for spin training and it's a lot of fun to fly. But as you can see, it's a pretty basic panel because when you're flying aerobatics, doing spins, you want to be looking outside. Now, the world's largest attitude indicator is actually the real horizon, so you should be looking at that. But we do have the essence of what we need for flight. We have some basic flying instruments. We have our airspeed, we got an altimeter, we got our vertical speed, we got a turn coordinator so we can know if we're coordinating the balls in the middle. We have engine instruments, so we have our engine RPM, we have a manifold pressure and fuel pressure, which is over here. Oil pressure and oil temp, EGT, CHT, voltmeter. So we just got the basics right here, everything we need. We do have a G meter. It's an aerobatic airplane and the plane has limits. This plane is rated +6 and -5 Gs. So you can see it's red line there, And we want to know not only what we did in the flight, but what the person before us did in the flight so we know if the plane's been overstressed or not. Coming over to the right, we have really basic avionics. We got this old Garmin GPS comm. We have a transponder and we have an intercom for talking front person in the back seat. And up on the dash here, we just have a basic vertical compass card compass, which works great. So you can see there's not a lot of fancy stuff. It's just really what you need in flight. If you look back here, this is all your electrical switches. So we have our magnetos, which will keep off. We have a master switch, avionics master, and various lights and all our circuit breakers. So if you look back up front, our radio's on. Transponder is pretty self-explanatory. Just punch in the code that you need. Most of the time it's going to be on 1200. And the radio, pretty much you just got your standby, your active, flip-flop, and 99.9% of the time that's what you're going to be using. You very rarely use the GPS function because you don't travel very far in these things. This is an airplane that has a stick, not a yoke. We got to push the talk on the top. Our throttle is over on the left-hand side, so stick with the right hand, throttle with your left. We have a prop control, high RPM, low RPM. That should be in. And we have our mixture control, a boost pump, and then our starter button to make this thing crank over. So we have a fuel gauge, one in each wing, telling us how much fuel's in the tanks. Both tanks gravity feed down to a header tank, which is below the panel, and then that tank will feed the engine, and that's how we have our inverted fuel. This thing will feed fuel inverted or from it, inverted or right side up. So the seat belts in this thing are unique that we have 2 lap belts attached to 2 separate points. And the reason being, if you're upside down and one of your belts fails or pops open for some reason, you still want a secondary source holding you in. And these belts have a ratchet on them. So once you have it down tight, you can literally ratchet it like a ratchet strap and really pull down tight into the cockpit. Over on the left side, this is our elevator trim. And down on the left sidewall, we have our fuel. It's either down, which is on, or if it's pointing out, it is off. Up on the side, we have a heater, so you pull for heat. And we have an air vent. And there's also an air vent on the right side. And we have 2 rudder pedals. It is a tail dragger, so you on them all the time with toe brakes. Kind of unique, if you look over here, we actually have this emergency jettison for the door. If you pull this pin and pull up, it releases the hinge on the door and the door will fall off. So in case of the emergency during aerobatics, where you're required to wear a parachute, you can actually jump out of the airplane if needed. So that wraps up our tour of the cockpit of the Decathlon. It's a great airplane. It's very basic inside because it is that way by design. Your attention is supposed to be outside of the cockpit, but it definitely gives you everything you need to accomplish a safe flight.